In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do front-end estimation with adjustment, and we're talking about finding the difference of two numbers, difference being subtraction. So there's two different ways to do this, depending on a situation with the hundreds. So I'm going to show you both ways. Here's the first one, 4,381 minus 2,189. So we want to start with our thousands. I don't round, I just bring down the thousands. I have 4,000 here, and I subtract it to how many thousands I have here, which is 2,000. And 4,000 minus 2,000 gets me 2,000. So I set that number to the side, and now I do my hundreds. Again, not rounding, just the front number of the hundreds. 300 minus 100. All right, and because I can do this, I can take 100 away from 300. Then it tells me what I'm going to do next. So 300 minus 100 equals 200, and then I have to round this number to the nearest thousand. So here is where I am rounding it. So I look at this number. Does this number take me to 1,000, or because it's 2, take me to nothing, which it rounds down to 0. So now I take this number, my 2,000, and my 0, and because this worked out the correct way, where I could take 100 away from 300, what I do is I take 2,000 plus 0, and I get 2,000 for my answer. So the estimated front-end estimation with adjustment, the difference here is 2,000. So I subtracted my thousands, subtracted my hundreds, rounded it, and then I added my thousands and my hundreds together. That's if everything you're able to do. Now, here's another situation. Again, I start with my thousands, so I take 6,000, and I minus 3,000, and that gets me to 3,000. And I set that to the side. So far, we're the same as this way. And now we go to my hundreds. I have 100 here, and minus 500 here. Okay, when I do that, I realize I can't do that. I can't take 500 away from 100. So I switch them around. But by switching them around, makes me change what I do down here. Instead of adding them like I did here, I'm going to subtract them. So I switch them around. 500 minus 100, now I can do that. That gets me to 400. And again, I round this number. I have to round it to the nearest thousand. Because that's a 4, I go down to 0. And now I have 3,000, which is my thousands, and 0, which is my hundreds. And I have to, instead of adding them like I did over here, because this didn't work, I had to switch those, so now I switch it. So now I subtract it. 3,000 minus 0 equals 3,000. And this is my answer. Pretty much the same way, except for when you get to your hundreds, if you cannot subtract them correctly, then you flip them, and by flipping them, you change this right here. So if everything works out, you go subtract your thousands, subtract your hundreds, round your hundreds, and then you add your hundreds and your thousands. If you can't do it, you subtract your thousands, you flip them and subtract your hundreds, and you round this number, your hundreds, and then instead of adding them, you subtract them, okay? And that's how you do front-end estimation with adjustment, finding the difference of numbers.